All right, let's go. Really appreciate you guys for jumping in. The name is Law Nation. Let's get right to it. This is a situation that the Cowboys must look at, and the name and the title of this conversation is who they should look at in this free agency. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of speculations out there, and the reality of it, the Cowboys don't like to spend money. And that is the real deal, Holyfield. The Cowboys do not like to spend money, but there are situations where, as this particular team can look at it just like this: if a player is willing to come to Dallas, then that will work. But it's up to the Jones family. Now, there's price points to many things, and one of the things that we have to take a look at will be how much will they be willing to spend. Now, Marcus, this is what from, let me add this to the screen, from PFF predicts that the Cowboys will sign Marcus Maye to a 1 year contract deal, basically. And this is how all of this stuff can go left to right. How much money, how much money will the Cowboys be willing to spend on a guy who's trying to regain surface level? Because up under him, his feet been sliding. The Jets, by the way, been a team that's been struggling for many of years, but Marcus shined primarily when they had this other guy that a lot of people said that the Cowboys should go out there and go grab. Shout out to you, Natasha. Shout out to you, Chris. Thank you for jumping in. And here's the situation. The Cowboys, if they do sign, and it's a prediction, just prediction, and that's the land that we living in, prediction land. The Dallas Cowboys for a 1 year deal, $6 million, $4.5 million guaranteed. That will be a deal. Now, he just came off of 11 to $12 million deal, and of course, that was the franchise tag. Now, the franchise tag to me, when you play on the franchise tag, it's pretty much a let's prove it deal. And he didn't get a chance to prove it, so he's bumped down to where his level of production will be. And this is right where the numbers are at: 6.6 million, 4.5 guaranteed. But before you guys get into any more information about that, appreciate you. Like I said, Natasha, thank you for jumping in, and good morning to you, and as well as Chaz, appreciate you. We need to re-sign Hooker. You right on the money, right where I'm heading to. Malik Hooker started to come around the way toward the latter part of the season last season. And I look at Malik Hooker as that guy that can really help this team out in a pinch if we need safety depths, right? And safety help. So I believe that you will probably get a cheaper deal out of Malik Hooker versus what we can get out of Marcus Maye. Now, I know Marcus is a little bit younger, probably, and of course, the flash in the pan will probably be with him because everybody loved the new blood, right? But ultimately, this deal and this conversation is all upon what the Cowboys would do with DeMonte KZ, Malik Hooker, and what plans do they have for Izzy. You guys remember the guy that they drafted last season that was a DB as a cornerback, and they flipped him as a free safety. We'll see what Izzy can do. And then let's not forget about Stephen Jones, what he said. He loved to draft guys so that the drafted guys can take away the veteran guys. And that's a great philosophy, by the way, but only if your guys can hit on those numbers. Now, a number one must sign to me, this is just to me, will be a Jayron Kearse if you're talking about secondary, what have you, because of the fact that he brings that temperament, he brings that mindset through, and he is the guy. He is the flat out guy that we got to say to ourselves, the leader on the field and off the field. I believe people rally behind him. Appreciate you, Chaz, man. Appreciate you. Here we go right here. Appreciate you. We don't have money, laugh aloud. We're not the Saints. See, Knicks, that's a great evaluation there. The Saints were pretty much $76 million over the cap. They're $76 million now over the cap. and watch how they still move, right? But the Cowboys, we tend to fall back, look at situations and say, we don't want to spend as much this money. We don't want to spend all of that, for a certain situation. Now, the Cowboys conversation as it relates to, let me pull this up right quick. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. I really appreciate you guys so much. Cowboys to look at Marcus Maye, salary cap issues, avoidable contracts. What do I mean when I say avoidables? The avoidable contracts. Well, the avoidable contracts will be painting yourself into a corner with a guy just because you said that, hey, he's homegrown, like the Connor Williams. Painting yourself into a crazy contract with that because you can look at the PFF grades and you can look at what the development curve will be. And then you'll say, man, if we take away the penalties, man, this was Connor Williams' best season. Let's throw him a trunk full of cash, right? And just like what we talked when we talked about Dalton Schultz. We talked about Dalton Schultz in the same light and Randy Gregory. I believe that the Cowboys will sit down with all three of those guys. And the best way to pursue this thing in order to go in the right direction would be this right here. Just be straight up and say, hey, we don't have a lot of money. We don't. And I know that this is me talking like I'm from the Cowboys organization, but this is the conversation. This is how they normally should do it. Look, we don't have a lot of money. And if I franchise tag you now, that's for Schultz, I think it's 11 to 12 million dollars. This could be right at $13 million when everything is all said and done. For Randy Gregory, that's $20 million. And Randy Gregory have not been giving us $20 million worth of performance. And I ain't saying that his value is not $20 million, but I'm talking about a collective that we really don't have $20 million. And for 6 sacks, I don't think that that's the situation. Now, for Connor Williams, shout out to you, Sheila Neal. Thank you for jumping in. And shout out to you, Gina. Thank you for being part of this episode. And William Bernay says, Kearse is a solid safety, but he's not an elite safety. We could still use an upgrade at one of the safety spots. I'm gonna pivot and I'm gonna go back to talk about that one, William. So this is the situation. It's not up to us. But this is how everything just pretty much come to the top. And I get it. There's Schultz fans. There's Randy Gregory fans. But the reality, they're Cowboys fans. There's no individuals to this part. The Schultz situation is that I know for sure if Schultz is asking for the sun and the moon, and I doubt it that he is, he's a good guy. I think that he's not asking for $15 million, $50 million contract stretched over 4 to 5 years. I'm not saying that he's asking for that. But what I can tell y'all, beautiful people, that when you think of it, O.J. Howard in this system, and I don't even know what he's asking for, but it's not 11 to 12 million dollars, and in the situation with Evan Ingram, I know he can't catch nothing, and on top of that, here's the situation. When we talk about in general of what Connor Williams did, I think that it'd probably be time to turn the page on that, right? We got this draft that we can really take a look at. And on top of that, I appreciate y'all for jumping in. Shout out to you, Peter. Appreciate you for jumping in as well. Thank you. Hello to you, Cowboy Nation. What Randy Gregory brings to the table. See, it's easier, and I said this yesterday, to find another Schultz. It's flat out easier to find a guard that can fit inside. And one can argue that, dog it, we got a guard already on this team that can probably play light years ahead of Connor Williams. But that's the story of a different day. I don't want y'all to come fight me today. But the Randy Gregory Some people saying that, hey man, he's a handful, he's a troublemaker because of the situations that he had with that natural plant that come out of God's earth that he liked to roll up.
Smoke weed every
You
day.
know what I'm saying? Give me them cigarillos. Give me them cigarillos over there. But he went through counseling. He went through a whole bunch of stuff, derailed in a sense. And the Cowboys stuck around and they hang around and they said, your capabilities are beyond me, right? But I tell you what, and shout out to the Swiss of Sweets over there, man. Appreciate y'all. But I'm gonna tell y'all this right here. Hear me out. Don't shake me with the butter knife. Because he is a handful as it relates to all of that. Like he been having us at the ropes. And the man finna hit 30 almost. And we sitting there like, come on, man. This dude got suspended again. And the Cowboys were already operating at a loss as it relates to the guy coming to the combine.
Smoke weed every day.
I mean, good grave. He was at the combine, right? But the Cowboys stuck with him for all of these years. And now it's time to pay up. And to franchise tag him would be crazy. But to sit him down and have that heart to heart talk and say, hey, man, you can go to any 31 other teams. But man, we fought for you. We had you in your corner. Now the choice is yours. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, right? But you're a free agent. You free. And I'm going to tell you, here in Dallas, we need to have a better pitch because we need to say to these players, look, after you gone from here, there's other opportunities for you to brand. I mean, you can open up your own smoke shop or your cannabis hut. You can do this, or we can flat out work with some other marketing promotions. But I think that what happened here over the course of the last 20 years, I think the Cowboys been more lip services with that versus something sustainable, tangible that you can physically touch. The Jones family need to already have these things in place. Not saying that they don't, but they need to have these things in place and say, the moment they bail you out, not now. They should have already had this conversation like, look, dog, we're going to bail you up out of this thing right now. But I'm letting you know now that when it's time to pony up, we got you and you got us. Let me know. They need to come in that thing mob style because I've read and I heard two stories. Read a story that Jerry Jones said there's not a check that he wouldn't write out if it was possible for him to win the Super Bowl. Well, dog it, there should be the same situation in the scenario for the Gregory kid. Now, to squeeze him just a little bit for those who ready for him to go, you have to wait until the draft. That's just the reality of it. Or if you can find somebody on the free agent list that's way down the line, and I doubt it, that Ben is something special. So the Cowboys must figure out a crafty way to keep Randy Gregory. And this is not, and I don't want people to say, because I got a few hate comments at this, this is not a situation where it's Randy Gregory versus Dalton Schultz. Yes, Schultz is a clean cut guy. He if it was a situation, I would say, yes, pay Schultz. But dog it, I can find another Schultz. There's many other Schultz, but there's hard to find that Randy Gregory. Black lips and all. It's hard to find it, but neither here nor there. Shout out to Randy Gregory. Brooks says, yeah, I love Randy. Appreciate you, Brooks. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Ray says keep Gregory. Okay. I'm reading some of your comments. I really appreciate y'all for jumping in. But my stance on this, all Cowboy Nation, is please do not, do not put the franchise tag on any of these guys. Let them test the market. If Randy Gregory feel froggy, let him leap off into the market. Let other teams poke and say, okay, we got this deal for you. Let other teams try to take upon a look at that bag. And the same is for Schultz. Let other teams take a real good look. But let's be real. Let's be real with everything that I just said. Schultz barely dropped balls, right? You when you look at the film, you look at his analysis, you look at his tape, you see that Schultz rarely dropped the balls. He actually had 2 drops for the year last season, and he was the third down money machine. He was the guy. He was flat out the guy. But when you look at everything that he do out there on the field, hook routes, slant. I wish they did call slant, but they don't call slants. Shallow routes, drag underneath, tall drag, high drag, low drag, middle hook area hook route. I don't even see the classic Jason Witten play, Y option. They don't even run the Y option anymore, So it's button hook, drag underneath, shallow drag, and deep drag. That's all. Can anybody present any tape that shows otherwise? I'm waiting. I'll wait for the all 22 for somebody to pull it up and say, in this particular play, no, it's not going to happen. In this system, it's not scheme and design to attack primarily the tight end specialty plays. Now, when they had Jarwin running some routes, they did line them up, running some verts, some deep sevens or what have you. And I said, okay, cool. They trust him a little bit. But unfortunately, that is the Kellen Moore system, right? Speaking of systems and talking about concepts, my guy CeeDee Lamb, he was speaking of some concept that he would like to do, some abilities that he would like to showcase and present to the table. Appreciate you, Jay First, for the $2. As my guy Big Game James would say, $2 holla. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That's Kellen Designs. I mean, come on, baby. And I ain't throwing any salt at Kelly, boy. I ain't throwing no salt at him, I ain't throwing no salt at him. Kelly, boy, that's what he do, baby.
Shame.
I mean, God, dog,
Shame.
boy.
Shame.
Oh my God! But I'm waiting for that film assessment, man, for somebody to say, "Hey, man, Schultz, 100% catching effort, 25% blocking efforts on Schultz, in my opinion." And here's my thing. Shout out to my homie, my homie, my dog, baby. Foots the king. When Schultz finally came out, he was like, "Yeah, see, I told y'all." But Schultz, Foots always had Schultz in his corner. He was like, "Yeah, you see, that's my guy, blah, blah, blah. He's a good blocker. He's the second coming of Jason Witten. He's going to be able to do this. He's going to be able to do that." And I was like, dude, you must be out your,
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
I'm burying Schultz for many of years. And then in 2020 rolled around, I was like, hey, Foots, man, I apologize, man. You were right about Schultz. But we done already paid Jarwin. So I wonder how that goes. Shout out to you, Toby. Just dropping some love, appreciations for all you do. You're the man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. You a real one, Toby. Toby, you the real one, baby. But speaking of that, man, CD was on a show of what I believe Ashley from She got her own talk show, Ashley Nicole. So let's listen to this right quick. And this was just a small excerpt of what CD said he would like to do.
Coming off a breakout year, and part of the reason is they used him as that wide back. Would you ever want to be utilized in that same sort of scenario as Debo did?
Yes, Nelly.
Mike McCarthy, hit it. Come on, man. Get him some carries.
No. And it's hilarious because when you say, it's funny that you say wide back, because I asked him, I want to say, we're in Vegas for the Pro Bowl, and I was like, bro, what position do you call yourself? Like, he said, bro, I'm a wide back. That was the first time I actually heard that in a minute. But, you know, just his ability to catch the ball, run out the catch, and, you know, rushing the ball. I mean, man, he's phenomenal with the ball in his hand. So, you know, get your playmakers the ball.
Did you hear what he said? A wide back. And I like it like that. She working that back. Slow motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong episode. But he said that he would like to become a wide back and you get your playmakers the ball. And I've been banging on this table saying that, man, this dude got too much skill set for you to utilize him in the small factors and only in certain situations of hook route, deep vert, you know, post, you know, 7, you know, I can literally say, okay, he finna run a 7. Yeah, he finna run the comeback, the hitch. He lined up here, vert. I literally can see that. You know, it is what it is. Look at Sheila Neal said, exactly, you know, Cordell Patterson, you know, I feel you. See, Cordell went to the right team and they start to work him in the right directions, you know. And Kellen and Mike ain't getting with players, seeing what they want to do. This is from Paul. I don't know if I can disagree with that. You know, I agree. I don't even think that these guys listen. Now, the guy that spoke, he said, hey, Mike McCarthy, listen. No, he need to be saying, Kellen, listen. And this is a copycat league. There's nothing wrong with looking at somebody's playbook and saying, oh, that worked for your guy? Okay. Bing bong, you know. You know, it's nothing wrong with going to somebody else's playbook and snatching what they do and putting it into yours. I've literally seen, shout out to you. Jametta, appreciate you. Reason oh my God, why they need to get rid of Kellen. Hopefully, man, Kellen looked at this whole off season, look, right now, he need to be in the lab, right? And he need to be really picking apart other teams and saying, okay, what worked for them, what need to be worked for me. Kellen Moore got the chance and opportunity to do this right now, to say to himself that he is the number 1 offense in the National Football League, right? Can anybody disagree with that? Yeah. Kellen Moore need to look into that and say, okay, I'm the number 1 offense in the National Football League, right? Number 1 in points, number 1 in total yards, but it's not good enough. I need to be efficient, better in the running category. So if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm sitting down with all of my Boise nerds, and I'm sitting down. I'm calling Robert Prince in, and I'm saying, sit right here, man. Help me. I'm calling up Skip Pete, right? I'm calling Skip Pete, and it's just our minds in that room. And I'm on the phone. Who got the I guess whoever had the best scoring offense, the efficient offense in college, I'm bringing them in too. And we having this conversation. How can I improve my efficiency level? Is it the running back that I really need to improve on, right? And I'm sitting down having that heart to heart, right? I'm looking at Tony Pollard tape. I'm looking at Ezekiel Elliott's tape. And I'm asking Skip Pete, literally, as a man to man, macho, mano y mano. And I'm saying, Skip, if this guy, Tony Pollard, is able to do this on the special teams, right? Taking it to the house, what did I do wrong at of not doing more sweep plays or tossing it on the edge, getting him out in space? How can we craft up a design so that a passing play can look exactly like this play, but it's going to be a running play? How can I create the mind foolery in that? Skip, sit there, and we go over that. And then he goes over to the other guys that's on his team, and he goes to look at CeeDee Lamb's tape. He goes look at Amari Cooper's tape. And then they hash that thing out. They need to really do that. Terrence Shorts, shout out to you. The the Jaguars should be using Laviska Shenault like that. Also, shout out to Laviska Shenault. He is DeSoto's own. Shout out to Dallas kids. I love it when they are from the Dallas area. And my guy, Coach Bird, will be working out with him this off season. Shenault and as well as TJ Vasher is on their workout regimen. So shout out to those two boys. We will be working those guys this summer. But he is a dynamic guy, yards after catch guy. Yeah, you're right. Need to watch Zach Taylor and see how to execute an offense even without a great offensive line. Yeah. You know, Zach Taylor, he's pretty good in his craftiness and his design. And you got to really look into it. Everybody was saying Joe Burrow. But don't leave out Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is no one to sneeze at, and he was running that ball hard, baby. Shout out to you, Jess. Law, watch wide back become a new position in the league. Teams going to start drafting certain type of players for that position, like a hybrid linebacker. You got to be more than just a run stopper now. Hashtag new trend. You know, I agree with that altogether, because if you look back at the film, what my guy said about, Zach Taylor, is it Toby? Appreciate you. Yeah, what you said about Zach Taylor, how to execute on an offense without a great offensive line. I've literally seen, hear me out, Jamar Chase in a game get some running snaps, right? I've seen Jamar Chase getting thrown the ball behind the line of scrimmage and the ability to run the ball around and getting him operations out in space. So, yeah, you 100% right. Let's listen to this audio again.
Deebo Samuel's coming off a breakout year, and part of the reason is they used him as that wide back. Would you ever want to be utilized in that same sort of scenario as Deebo did?
Yes, Nelly.
Mike McCarthy, hit it. Come on, man. Get him some carry.
So he said, yes, use me as that wide back, all right, so that is the situation there. Lamar, you got shanked by the butter knife. My gosh.
Oh, no.
Quinn has a scheme, but use players differently within that scheme. Moore has a scheme, and players don't matter. Big difference. Yeah. A scheme itself is designed to be, regardless of what you present or regardless of the level of skill set, a scheme supposed to be a plug and play situation. Now, the more talented or the more talent your player possess, it works even more efficiently. But the scheme is still the scheme. I recall it was many of years ago that it didn't matter who the Denver Broncos drafted. You knew that they was going to get 1,000 yards rushing, right? Because it was their scheme. A scheme, it don't matter who goes to the 49ers. They're going to be presented the ball to run. They're going to look like they can run the bejesus out of the ball, right? And that's why you were able to plug in Elijah Mitchell, regardless of their offensive line structure, they were still able to run the ball. But shout out to them for looking at their offensive line and saying, okay, they need to spend money on their offensive line to go get them. They went and got a veteran Alex Max, and they went and got Trent on the edge for the offensive tackle to fit their scheme. You see, the Cowboys don't have a specific scheme, right? So that's the situation. I can go all the way back to when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They had a scheme in place, three-headed running back. It was not fly, Eagles, run. It didn't matter if they was facing against Tom Brady. It didn't matter if they were facing against, I think the Patriots were the top 10 defense at the time. They ran their scheme, and it worked for them. And the Cowboys just don't have a scheme. Yeah, JK said that the other day. Appreciate you. I think we're going to cut D-Law. If you cut him, you save 8 to 19 million, give or take. That's a lot of money. All right, so in our final minutes here, I really appreciate everybody for jumping in. I thank all of you all for being part of this episode. Let's see. I'm going to try to answer some of these questions on my way out. We did under Garrett, smash mouth football, run football. I'm thinking that's partially agreeable, Tyler. That's partially. I agree with that partially. You see, the thing is with Jason Garrett football, it's hard to grab hold to what Jason Garrett was trying to do. And when we look at Jason Garrett, his scheme, his overall collective scheme, okay, if he's a run first mentality, then yeah, we can parlay with that, right? But we know that his philosophy and system do not work. Why, Law? Well, he was with the Giants for 27 games. And they fired him because through his time over there in Giants land with Saquon Barkley, with, I guess you can call him Danny Dimes, right? And they had Evan Ingrams. They had wide receivers. They drafted offensive line, and they averaged less than 19 points a game. You see, the difference between the Giants and the Cowboys is that the Cowboys, we had talent, right? But the Cowboys didn't just live with 27 games. They went with 10 years of Jason Garrett, supposedly scheme. And that shows and also highlight the fact that even with Tony Romo, the Cowboys were at least able to get more than 19 points a game. But that goes to show you that we didn't have a scheme. We didn't have a unique scheme. Whereas let me say this, and it's not me throwing shade or salt at Jason Garrett, but there's never, like, since he been here, and this is not me going all the way back, but there's really no game that you can just walk into and say, yeah, based upon our coaching staff, we have the competitive edge. No, it was never that. It was never that. It was based upon our players that, man, we should win this game. Tony Romo is better than the opposing quarterback on the opposite side. Or Dez Bryant is just far beyond better than the DBs on the opposing side. That carried on. Now we may see a little bit of, hey, based upon our coaching staff now, we're going to win this game. I don't have nothing to worry about it. I think that Dan Quinn can develop a scheme to automatically win us this game. Now, I do know you got to play the game to win the game, right? But hopefully, heading into the 2022 season, we can look right at it and say, yeah, we winning this game because our coaching philosophy is stronger and we got the players. We got the star power. We're going to win this. We're going to win this game. Paul, appreciate you. Good point. But it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. We need to dominate, and we need to pick a side to dominate on. And I think that the defensive side is close for us to come around and figure out ways to dominate. If the Cowboys decide not to re-sign Jayron Kearse, Malik Hooker, DeMonte KZ, or even Randy Gregory, as long as we go into this draft and build around Parsons, I still think that we have a chance and an opportunity. We do. That's just my philosophy of it. I thank everybody for jumping in. Be sure to hit that like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys.